Hi, it's Sonia and I'm going to do my process video for the week. I feel like it's a good follow-on process video because I have just shared my finished abstract sketchbook, and this is my new one because I'm definitely using, I think I always change my mind, but at the moment I want to use these craft cheap sketchbooks as abstract sketchbooks because I feel they work really well for that purpose. And yes, I've started it. It's kind of in the same vein because that worked for me previously. So while I'm still engaged in this way of working, why not? Yep, and this page I did on the 18th. Is that a few days ago? And it's like I've got acrylic ink on it, collage, went a bit wild. This is a page that because I took this sketchbook inside because I was like, oh, maybe I'll work on, I'd have two, like one for inside, but I never used it inside in the lounge. So it's come back out here. But then I've sort of added to that page. This page, I have added some little tiny, I'm trying to remind myself, this is a working sketchbook. So I've trying to remember to add little notes. If I see bits of interest in my process as I'm playing around, so for example, I've got here, I use the Crayola wax crayon to smear the oil pastels, so that I like that effect. I wonder if I can repeat that. And then here I've got, what's I say? I can't read my writing though. Laying with those kids' chunky paint sticks here. Over Karan dash number 2, which is interesting because sometimes people say that the Karan dash, maybe that's more the wax crayon, tends to be a last layer. But it's just fun to play and see what happens, like when you do layer things on top of each other. And this was just wanted to go big with some shapes. I was thinking about should I cover the whole white in, but I've left it. I think this is done for me. More collage, and I didn't date this page, but so as you can see, I use these sketchbooks so much because they're just such fun. I mean, this page I've just stuck in. I think I did a video where I went through a lot of old work. Some I'm keeping that I want to keep sort of file. Like I think sketchbooks are a good way of filing work. Sometimes when they're just loose in a pile, it's like, I don't know. And then here, okay, so this was a left and right-handed drawing. I think I was doing some, it's amazing how you forget how much, work our hands do every single day. And like on editing some prints, I think it was obviously super repetitive. I started to feel that with one hand, and then when I was using, I was just trying to think like, how can I sort of balance out my hand usage, because I do like to be quite heavy-handed on these pages. And this has led to the process I want to repeat. So this morning I came in super early. I was up really early. And I came in, I did a left hand drawing, and this is my left hand. Weirdly, I'll put it on the right side of the page, but hey ho. And then I was like, this is sort of more wonder what, in terms of using my right hand, if I repeat sort of a similar process, and then you've got the sort of comparison, and I kind of like that. And I just kept to a silver Crayola metallic marker. So this morning with you guys, I thought I would do the similar thing. I wanted the same thing, and I randomly picked up, I don't know why I like the number 3, but 3 things. Like I've got I don't love this, but I've got to be honest with you. I've got a set of these neon Artico oil pastels because I was sort of like, I love neon ones, but I think I'd go back to gallery for neon because these are a little bit too waxy. I shouldn't be drawing that because I'm not start. Then I've got just a Crayola crayon and the marker. I'm trying to use up. My kids have changed. They're getting older. They're not using the same art supplies that they did, and I don't want to waste so I'm using up their stuff for the work because I'm trying really hard this year not to have stuff lying around unused. So here we go. Okay, so this might be a fun thing for you guys. I'm also trying to share these processes as I'm doing them, because I know I move on really quickly. And I'm going to start. I move on really quickly in terms of what sometimes, and if I don't share it, I'm not sure I'm going to be repeating these processes, because then I forget. But I think they might be of use to people, because, you know, like if you're a bit stuck and thinking, oh, what should I do? Well, maybe do a right-handed or your dominant hand drawing on one side of the page, and then with the same colours go in and see what happens when you repeat the process with your non-dominant hand. It's just, and also gives it some sort of, I guess, exercise. Now, some of these markers are starting to run out. Yeah, so, and then I thought also, I'm talking as I'm doing this one for a change, because I was thinking that sometimes I like that it sort of shuts up. Talking and drawing means, oh my gosh, this might have been the worst marker I could have chosen, because it is actually running out. Okay, I might have to rethink my, maybe I'll be going to 4 colours. It's just, anyhow. Yeah, because talking and drawing means sometimes I end up with some quite interesting drawings, because it's just different. I'm not fully, I can't say I'm fully engaged in the drawing process, because I'm also trying to find my words and think about what should I be talking about next. So I think actually it does lead to some much more weirdly, I don't know, like I really can't think too much about the drawing when I'm talking, which is why I'm quite hesitant, to be honest with you, to do I don't know about doing a portrait, like live workshop, because I need to concentrate on the drawing. I'm gonna have to really practice. But I can do some, if anyone's interested, portrait processes here, and then just talk over them. Would be a lot easier. So yeah, just playing with shapes. It may well be that I'm going to have to change this marker over for my right-handed drawing on the other side. But that might be, you know, interesting. Yeah, so in terms of like, this is a bit of a weekly sort of podcast, what's been going on. Okay, no, it's my left hand, so I need to remember what I'm doing. So art this week it will be scrappy for me, which is fine. I'm kind of used to that, because it's President's Week here. So I've got kids at 3 different state schools, because it's like, you know, you've got elementary, middle and high. So one is at school, and then I've got 2 off. And I'm letting them, they're old enough, obviously they would like to amuse themselves, but them amusing themselves would be that just probably be glued to screens all day long if I don't go and make them do stuff. So I'm like letting them have time off and space, but also we will be hopefully going for a walk into town. And the youngest does actually have soccer camp as well some mornings, and they have still their soccer practice, so we'll be doing. But it's just meant that this week in terms of art is pretty, I think it's fine. It's obviously I'm lucky as it is to have space to do this. So, but it is a little bit more, I'm getting used to like a different sort of schedule, as it were. So I'm just going to add in, I don't know, I guess I'm following on from that previous picture, because I just liked how that one turned out and these curvy lines. And I have been reading some really great books. I mean, yeah, last week I think I got a little bit, have a sip of coffee. I think I went off on one on potential, because I'd obviously read 2 books. This is the thing with reading, and I love reading, but it's like, if they're really good books, this will like get into my like psyche. So I start to become, you know, thinking about this stuff a lot. And then I move on to another book, and I've moved on again. But yeah, don't diagnose me. That's just how my mind is. It's how I like, sort of, I guess, following my train of curiosity. So no, but it's been, I feel like I have been very motivated, and yeah, I mean, touch wood, I don't feel in any way, you know, like you see a lot of artists saying about burnout or block, but just more so I think I can get self-critical because of all my jumping around, which, to be honest, because of people being on holiday and then my husband's away again, I feel actually entitled. I feel, you know, the fact is that I'm making a lot of art is great, so I'm not gonna knock it really. So yeah, this is my, and then sometimes I like to flick through and just get some ideas for shapes. And I guess our art practice gives us all, that's the, you know, again, reading books, I'm so aware, like the two books that have really spoken to me recently that I keep saying, I've got to stop saying again. Two books that recently have interested me a lot have been written by half Asian authors, so like and they both made me cry. Crying in H Mart, which I think I spoke about. I can't remember the author's name now. Michelle someone, and then just the one I've just finished last night, Unearthing by Kyo, I'm probably going to mispronounce her name. Well, the first book, Kyo Maclear. Yeah, these are both half Asian. I think the first one, Crying H Mart, is half Korean, half American, and then Kyo Maclear is half, well, sort of, I think she's English Canadian and half Japanese. And for me, being, because I'm half Asian too, like I'm half Chinese, well, my mum's from Malaysia, and half English, I feel it's been really nice to read, because when I was growing up in a sort of a small Essex, well, not small actually, in a predominantly white Essex town, with I love the library, but I remember reading all these books, like my grandma was into sort of like wartime sagas, and I sort of outgrew the children, because it was such a small library, I outgrew the children's section. So all these books, like I never read a book at that time, I felt. Maybe Amy Tan was becoming well known, but an author that I kind of could identify with, really. So well, I mean, you can, I think a great story, look, writing is open to everybody. I mean, that's a great writer, that's the whole thing, you can empathise, you find out about different cultures, races, times, but at the same time it is really interesting. There's something that speaks, because some of this stuff in these books it's not totally different stories to mine, but I can identify with some of the themes. Maybe that's like with You Can Now, I'm going to take it back to art, bring it back, Sonia. But I wonder if that's the same thing with like YouTube channels and artists on YouTube, in that everyone's got different stories and different, like, you know, means and everything, but sometimes the artists can speak to you, like you feel seen or understood, because sort of a similar way of thinking, enjoying art, that sort of need for creativity. So yeah, with these books, especially the whole being mixed race, like being half is also an interesting dynamic that I find hard to explain to people, because I never totally feel, maybe that's a whole embracing like sort of outsiders, and like I never felt, I mean, truthfully, the point is I've never been to China. I've been to Malaysia, you know, like 4 or 5 times, but I've never, it was harder for me, I used to feel a bit guilty about this, to identify with that side of me, because I felt more, if I'm going to be truthful, I felt very British growing up, because that was my environment and culture, all the people I went to school with. But at the same time, I always felt I didn't fit completely I thought this felt slightly different, so compared to all my English friends. So yeah, I mean, it's just interesting. I think that's why I love reading. And I think it comes into our art. I think sometimes maybe we don't want to, probably subconsciously as well, the things we're reading. So now what I'm going to do is, though this is, I'm following on from my idea from this morning, I'm going to bring in, what did I say about, this is where it's helpful to write notes. Oh my gosh, really, Sonia? Can you not find the page? What did I say? Use a crayon marker to blend. Okay, so because I've got, I want to smear, let's smear some of this with this, or that wax crayon. Okay, I don't want this process video to be too long, and I hope you are getting able to, you're doing your art, and so I'm going to leave that side. So that's going to be my, and I think also, I mean, it's going to be, you probably don't need to label it because left hand is going to be pretty obvious to yourself, I assume. So now I'm going to come in, shall we, probably because I put the lid on, this should last maybe one more. Right, this is my right hand. Whoa, this is actually quite, that's not bad, I don't think, personally, for using my right hand. But watch me colour this in. Now, I was thinking, the other reason I really want to share this process with you is I've really been into, this is why I make these process videos, especially for you guys on Patreon, because, well, you might get fed up and want to unsubscribe from here, and that's fair enough. But I can imagine if I did this on YouTube, people would be like, oh, this is all over the place. You're talking about books you've read, and now you're going to talk about, and I can't even, I'm nearly distracted myself, I can't remember what. This is something really important. Oh yeah, I've really been into, I wanted to share, because I just found out a new term for it. That sort of naive, I've been calling it sort of naive outsider art, or more naive, you know, but I don't think necessarily, well, these artists, it does when I look them up, because I find them on Instagram. A lot of the time they get shown to me on my explore page, and can I just say I'm pretty good on Instagram at the moment. I'm not really, don't expect me, I'm not there to be, oh, this sounds really awful, but I'm not there to be social, I have to say, because it's changed that platform with the adverts and everything. But I do like how you can find how artists that you'd never normally hear about, I think, you know, like, in books or in major exhibitions. So there's a couple, I should write down who they are. Sometimes they've got these alias, which is another idea for you guys if you're a bit shy about sharing your work. Like what I would, and this is sometimes what I've done in the past and then deleted, is you can make up an alias, like a name for yourself. So I'm going to cough. Like a well, obviously the obvious example is Banksy, but I think there was like the Guerrilla Girls, and there's been lots of artists who haven't used their own, you know, think about novelists, if they start out, they have pen names, so you can have like a pen artist name, and then just test the waters, share the art you want, but it, you know, have this sort of like alter ego, which I think is quite a fun concept. Anyway, so this guy, I think he's called, I think it's like Looking for a Gift Horse or something. And he does really, it reminds me a lot of, because I'm really have over the years been super inspired by this art. I think like there's a guy, an English guy, who, when I've seen videos on YouTube, he's very the artist, Danny Fox. He does these like great sort of acrylic canvases, and his style is like, I was just thinking about this because I'm drawing with my right hand. I could probably find it easier to do that art, do it with my this hand, because I actually like it's like a child, is like going back to being a child and 3 years old and trying to like make shapes. It doesn't come naturally. And this guy, so there's Danny Fox, there's, who else? I wouldn't say Rose Wiley because she, oh gosh. Florence, there's a Florence something or other, CH she comes up as. And they do very, very rustic, rough, like you feel like they're even, some of these, and this guy, the one who's called, I don't know his real name. I'm gonna have to try and look this up before I add this stuff to the video. he uses house paint. Like when I looked at one of his pictures, I thought, oh, that looks very rustic, and it was literally house paint on hardboard. Is it hardwood? Like you'd gone and got an off-cutting of wood and then just used some house paints, which I know a lot. I know this isn't. Lots of artists have done this before. This isn't anything, you know, it is anything original, quite frankly, at the moment, which is I find quite heartening. This I really like this shape. I'm gonna stop there with the marker. And he did sort of a table scene on the chair. There's just something that grabs my attention, this style of art, that feels, I guess, maybe because, I mean, it's not so commonplace. It just seems quite fresh. It's the sort of thing that I wouldn't mind on my wall, quite frankly. It's sort of cheerful. I mean, undercurrents. I think actually if you properly read into this artist, they're obviously thinking, maybe they're not. I don't know. I haven't looked into it enough, but some sort of serious undertones maybe, but it's at the same time the actual picture is fun, sort of slightly frivolous, slightly of a lot of them seem to put horses in their work, like really sort of what some people would call, art critics might call really badly drawn horses, or but this at the same time they are, I don't know, they've just got style. There's a certain style, and their colour choice. Another thing with these artists are their colour choices as well. Like, it's basically right up my street, this type of art that I'm enjoying. And so I'm very grateful for Instagram for showing me this stuff. And then I'm really pleased with this drawing with my right hand, because I want to get to the point where I'm so confident in it that I might actually do a proper like painting and have a go at that myself. And the name that I saw, because then you get their art galleries, if they do, you know, get into art galleries. I love how the speak there, because it's obviously they make it very serious. And one of they were saying, oh, it's I don't know if it's not NAIF. Is that not naive as well? Faux naive? I don't know how to say it. But what I do know is I learnt a new term for this style of art, and I think they were saying you should think the art gallery sort of market copywriter was obviously wanting to get a bit deeper into the process, which is fair enough, because even the simplest art, there's thought. I feel like there's this sort of juxtaposition of sometimes I'm just like, I am just making art. It is just markers. It is just pen. I don't want anyone to come and say there's anything serious here. But other days I'm like, I am in a serious mood. I'm like, this is about me, and I want it to be taken seriously. So I don't know. That's me, so I can see other people probably a little bit more stable in their mindsets. Okay, yeah, this is fun. So is that. Yeah, the joy is you can so go into your own. I mean, I think I'm going to call this, because I don't want to make this a terribly long, like, newsletter style podcast. And I just also probably need to stop drawing, because I just do need to think, is there anything important? Like, I will also try and do a post with some pictures, because I'm just looking. Do you know what? I can just bring them quickly. Wait. Just a couple of things. Because this week I don't think I'm going to do a vlog style YouTube post. I was trying to think I'd do like one vlog a week, but I've been so bad at is it in shot? So bad at filming this week with the kids off and everything that I think I've got a few snippets of footage, but that's it. But I have still been creeping in here and doing a lot of art, working in the kitchen. And yeah, this one was funny because I just get influenced all over. But there's a guy, oh man, I don't know his name. because he's a Japanese artist. He's on Instagram. He does oils, and they're very sort of like almost primitive. I think Nicholas Tribe did a painted lives on him, and I knew about him before because I follow him on Instagram, but I was thinking, oh, let's go back to figurative, and I'm happy using myself. I'm drawing these days, I'm just using myself and the kids because I feel okay with altering images of myself. Like, I want to go rougher over this than I would someone else's face who I don't know if they'd want me to muck around so much with their image. And then this is, I think, just this is hot off the press. This book is now finished. So at some point I will do a sketchbook tour, but this, I'd kept all of my favourite colours to the end, and I just had to be brave. And you know what this was inspired by? These books are so heavy. I'm trying to allow myself one art book from the library once in a while, because it's more carrying backwards and forwards. But yeah, this book, I was just flicking through, and which page inspired me? Well, probably something like this, but that's Matisse, isn't it? Yeah, Matisse's sort of green and pinks. Oh my gosh, he just cheered me up. Like, I looked at his work and I was, oh, I can't find the exact one. It had he inspired me to do geraniums. So then I went to, okay, you can tell I'm going to be really super honest. This is how I work. So I was looking at this and I'm like, I want to do, is it this one? This page, this little bit here is tiny. I love the greens and the pinks. And I saw some geraniums. But so then I have, this book is obviously $2 from the local library foundation. And I got it years ago, and it's just got all these, it just gives me a little bit of inspo for when I'm doing really loose flowers. Like, I can just come in, if I want that in my vase, I can stick it in. Like, so I've been trying to use also my reference books, and if I'm not going to use my reference books, then they can be donated back to the library. Sometimes I like to see library sales, it's like you're sort of renting them, because I don't want to keep, I mean, these things are chunky, but sometimes I have been using it recently, so that's good. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Thank you. I will come back, hopefully this has been, again, another abstract process video. I might try and do a portrait-y type drawing, and then maybe I'll have to talk over that one next week. Let me know if that's something you fancy, or oops. Okay, but thanks always for being a patron. I do appreciate it. It's lovely to have a community, and I'm feeling inspired and motivated through YouTube and you guys, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.